Roll call.
I am recording the roll call.
Okay. If I can get an approval for the agenda for the August 17th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I need an approval of the minutes from the July 20th meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor? Oh, I need a second.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Okay. All right, we will get on to our regular business, and the first appeal that we have is Lawrence Turner. So Mr. Turner, you are requesting to move to 857 Ricky Drive, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what we're going to ask is, this is the first time you've ever appeared before the board?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay. So we're going to ask you to tell us what you were convicted of, how it came to light. And we just ask that you don't mention the victim by name or by relationship.
Okay. I was convicted of irresponsible contact with a minor. Went to trial 2010. And no, well, I got charged in 2009 and then went to trial in 2010 and lost bench trial in 2010 and got sent to prison.
And did you plead guilty?
No, I went to
Okay.
bench trial, man.
Okay, and then, so the jury found you guilty.
No, it was actually one judge. It was I waived my jury trial for a bench trial. The difference is you don't have a jury, it's just one it's a judge that's ruling over the case. That's
Okay.
a difference.
Okay. And we do have, just so you know, we do have a representative from the Green Bay Police Department that typically will have access to the court documents, and we confer with him to make sure that your story is accurate as to what you're telling us. Are you all right with that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, sure. That's
Okay,
cool.
all right. I'm sorry, Brad, I'm not sure of your title, if you're commander, captain, lieutenant.
I am a lieutenant with the detective division.
Okay, can you tell us if what he has said is accurate?
It's not inaccurate, it's very summed up. Of
Yeah.
course, the complaint is much longer than that. There were actually, I believe, six charges on this criminal complaint. 4 of them were domestic abuse related, and 2 of them were first-degree child sexual assaults.
First degree?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you wanted me to give, can you still hear me?
Yes,
Oh, you wanted me to give you the details. I was kind of like, I didn't really understand what you said. I'm sorry.
yes,
I
yeah,
apologize.
okay.
I'm sorry, this is my first time too being on here, so please
Sure.
let me apologize if I come short on any requests y'all have.
Yeah. Okay, so, Mr. Turner, are you scheduled to get out of prison shortly? Are you
Ma'am,
already out?
so I did 12 years. From 2010, I got sent to prison. 2018, I got a letter from the district attorney of Green Bay, which I turned all the paperwork in. I believe y'all should have it in front of y'all. Reopening the case, so to speak. I've been working with the Innocent Project since 2018. I got out about a year ago, 2021, April 30th, I believe, May 1st, something like that. And I've been working ever since, and just pretty much staying busy.
And where have you been residing at the Humboldt Road address since you've been released?
No, so when I got released, I did 2 months. I did 2 months, no, actually a little bit over 2 months in the TLP on Shawano Ave for prisoners getting out.
Yep.
I went to work right away. Then I did extended, and I pretty much I've been staying at the motel for a while now, paying $1,600 a month after that. So it was kind of, I was bouncing around after the TLP, still working at the same time, and then I went to the motel. I've been there for, for a few months now, so.
Okay.
And
Um,
not to
prior-
interrupt, but we do have someone from the Innocence Project who did want to speak on this topic. So wherever that fits in, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that there is someone who is here to speak on behalf of Mr. Turner.
Okay, all right. We can get to you shortly, Stephen. Okay, does the board have any questions regarding his offense?
None here.
I'm just curious if you can speak to, well, you can't speak to the relationship, just more details of what that first degree assault was.
Sure. Mr. Turner, can you please do that?
I'm not understanding the question, I'm sorry.
Can you give a little more detail about the crime that was committed or you were convicted of?
Details, the mother accused me of touching her daughter. We went to trial. She recanted a couple times. Come to find out, in 2018, we did some of our investigation. She actually tried to blame two other people for the same crime. She tried to blame them for the same crime. So it was kind of a situation where she had this behavior going on. I am effectively appealing my case right now. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the board knows about that. The paperwork I dropped off.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Mr. Turner, are you saying that absolutely nothing happened?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So just so you're aware, if we wish to discuss any kind of treatment, you have the right to do that in closed session, or we can remain in public session. And how do you feel about that?
Is you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. This is all new, so I don't even know what that means. Like,
So we're going to ask you, we want to ask you questions about any kind of treatment that you have gone through, such as maybe sex offender treatment, maybe AA, NA,
Oh, yeah,
anything
sure.
like that.
Sure. Yeah, we keep that on. It don't matter. It don't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so you don't mind if everyone hears this conversation?
No, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So did you receive any kind of treatment while you were in prison?
For a sex offender, no. For any other, no. Like I said, I was effectively put in my case, so there was no way to really do that. However, in the prison, it was a lot of programs that was overpowered, or it was low on staff, so it wasn't letting a lot of inmates. It was kind of like the prison I was in, which was Kettle Moraine. They were getting you into programs more closer to your release date. they had a program like that. I don't know if y'all familiar with certain prisons, but so a lot of the programs that I try to get into, they wouldn't let me in considering my time frame on being released.
Meaning you had too much time to go?
Right. So yeah. And then by the time that I got to the end of the gates, you know, I was appealing my case because the DA had sent me the letter that's probably should be in front of y'all, the 2018. I got released in 2021. However, little background. I mean, I've been up here. I've been a resident of Green Bay since 99, since I was 17. So I've been up in Green Bay a long time. I didn't just move here. I've been here a long time. So
Okay.
while in prison, I stayed active educationally. Even though I couldn't get into the programs, I did a lot of self-help books. I read a lot. I stayed active as far as prison.
That's fine. We just really want to know if you have any documented treatment of any type. Do you have a problem with any drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay. All right. Does the board have any questions reference that as treatment?
No.
No.
Okay. I think at this time, I'd like to have Stephen speak on his behalf. Stephen, if you can just, when you come on, state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. My name is Stephen Wright. I am a professor of law at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. That's 975 Bascom Mall, Madison, Wisconsin. As part of my duties at the law school I run, it's called a law school clinic, including the Wisconsin Innocence Project. I believe you have the letter that basically started our involvement. The state of Wisconsin, the prosecutor's office, to their credit, learned that the mother of the alleged victim in Mr. Turner's case had quite publicly said something to the effect, threatening her current boyfriend, saying, "I'm going to do to you what I did to Lawrence." A social worker heard that and reported it, and the district attorney's office launched a preliminary investigation, and they were able to confirm those statements. Further, I believe the city of Green Bay should have these records. The police department, which was also very cooperative, interviewed several people, including the social worker who heard that statement and who reaffirmed that the mother, the mother of the complainant made it. We're currently in litigation because, as you might imagine, we have not had an opportunity to actually reach the merits. Wisconsin, like many states, has to balance the needs of individuals to challenge their appeal, but also to prevent excess and wasteful litigation. So we're sort of in the prayer right now. So the court has not actually weighed in on the merits of whether these statements are sufficiently exculpatory. But as I said, this was referred to us. The district attorney's office personally called us and asked us to represent Mr. Turner going forward on this. And I believe the city of Green Bay Police Department should have the records, but also they launched their own investigation, which has been very, very helpful. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
So, is this something that you're saying that you're going to try to work out with the mother, that she lied, and then the case is going to be done and over with? Does the court system dismiss the case? What's that process?
Yeah. So the mother has the police court the mother. The mother recanted several times before the case, recanted actually during the case. But the mother now has sort of reaffirmed her statement. Part of it, I think, is just due to the gravity of it. I mean, you know, it's a very serious thing that she's done, and obviously that may come with criminal penalties in and of itself. So the way that Wisconsin works is once someone is exonerated, there's actually not a stamp that says exonerated or innocent. What you basically get is a new trial, and then the state leaves you alone. So what we're ultimately hoping is for the court to invalidate Mr. Turner's judgment conviction in order that he hold a new trial. And at that point, the state would dismiss charges.
Okay. Does the board have questions regarding this?
I have one question. How old was the alleged victim at the time?
I believe the age was 5 years old, Lawrence, is that correct?
Yeah, around 5, I think.
I should also say that, you know, there were several recordings of the social workers working with the alleged victim, the complainant, and the initial videos demonstrably showed that she was not. And I should also note that the court admonished the mother because the mother was coaching the young woman during the actual testimony, and that is on the record and also a basis of our claim.
Thank you.
Okay. No further questions?
No.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Sure. So at this point, the board, we need to make a decision whether we want to approve or deny Mr. Turner to reside at 857 Ricky Drive. You know, we've got a lot of information before us regarding this Innocence Project, the case being reopened, him serving 12 years in prison. So does anyone have any feedback right now?
Other than it's obviously difficult to weigh that evidence just because it is one-sided. You know, we don't hear the other side of it, but based on the nature of the crime or alleged crime, being, you know, adjacent to any school or church, you know, it's a ways away from Pride Park. I'm okay with moving forward and approve the appeal of Mr. Turner to moving to 857 Ricky Drive.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that motion?
Did we want to check to see if there was anyone else on the call who wanted to comment before we
Sure.
put a motion on the floor?
Yep, sure. Is there anybody else who wants to speak for or against Mr. Turner? No, okay. So we do have a motion from Alex approving Mr. Turner to reside at the 857 Ricky Drive. Is there a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Oh, okay.
Just to clarify, this is address specific?
If that's the
Yes.
correct definition, I did say 857 Ricky Drive.
Okay.
Okay, so we have that motion on, we have a second, so we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so Mr. Turner, you are approved to reside at 857 Ricky Drive. If you do decide to relocate, you would need to come before the board again until your case has been, your appeal has been settled.
Okay, sure. That sounds good. I appreciate everybody too.
All right, and would you like us to mail that to your Humboldt Road address or the Ricky Drive address?
Since y'all, well, you're gonna mail it to the Ricky Drive now.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you and have a good afternoon. Is that it?
Yep.
Or do y'all need
Yep.
anything else from me?
Nope,
Or-
you're all done, thank you.
Okay, y'all have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too. All right, next on the agenda is the appeal of Mark Wani, requesting to move to 844 Irvington Street. Mr. Wani, you have never appeared before the board, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So again, we are going to ask you what you were arrested for and convicted of, how it got brought to the police's attention. And again, during this time, we ask that you do not mention the victim by name or relationship.
Okay, I'm gonna read these papers I'm gonna read off of. Some of the information is duplicate on it. So once I go through it, some of it'll be duplicate. So that's what I'm gonna be reading it from.
Well, what are you
Okay,
reading us from? What kind of documents?
It's on Seek. I believe came from CCAP, the charges, and what I
Okay.
got from the charges.
Okay, all we want to know at this moment is you just tell me the charge and
Okay.
what happened.
Okay, the first one was an attempt second-degree sexual assault to a 15-year-old, which is a Class C felony. I plead guilty and then no contest to it, get it over with. I gave marijuana and we were drinking. I was driving around Grays Hill area, and then I touched the victim or the child in the groin area, and that was an attempt second-degree sexual assault.
And how old were you?
Gosh, I don't even know. This happened in 1992, so I don't even know how old I was I think I was in my 20s, I
Okay,
believe. So
all right.
this case here that I'm talking about is like 28 to 30 years old. So,
Yeah.
So, the second one is a second-degree sexual assault to a child, which was 16 years old. Gave marijuana to the person and had sex at a Motel 6 in Green Bay way back in 1994. Then I let the victim drive my car, and then in place of that, I asked to give him a full job, so that happened in the hotel as well. And then I
Okay.
got 2 years state prison. Then all together was 2 years. It added up to be 6 years at Sandridge Treatment Center, where I was for the treatment for sex offender treatment there. I've been in and out of Sandridge for supervised release stuff back and forth. So it's that.
So how many years have you been in and out of Sandridge?
Let's see. Well, I'm going to tell you, this is the 7th time on supervised release, which I'm following all the rules and everything, but in and out from 2000, I believe it's 2021 that I first got out. Then I was out a little bit, about 6 months to a year, broke rules, then went back in, back and forth. And now I'm getting discharged on supervised release within 13 days and a wake up on August 31st. The court approved me for discharge way back in March 7th of this year.
Okay. And you plan on living with other adult males, is that correct?
Yes, yes, at that address right now, 844 Irvington Street. There are 2 other adult males that are living there. One's in the basement, one's upstairs. I would be on the level floor, and both of them are working.
Okay. Are you a lifetime GPS monitor?
Yes, I'm on GPS right now,
And
and I'll
when
be
you,
for.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you can go ahead.
Will that be until August 31st and then you'll be done, or will it be forever?
The beacons will be going to my agent's office on the 30th. I got to take that into her office, and then the GPS will stay on while I live in Wisconsin. I'm staying in Wisconsin, so that'll be on my ankle And if I were to ever leave Wisconsin to go to another state, but I don't have no one in another state, so I'll be staying in Wisconsin, working in Wisconsin, and maintaining my abilities and responsibilities that I need to retain to.
With the GPS on you.
Yes, with the GPS on my ankle.
Okay. All right. Does the board have any questions regarding, his offenses?
Yes, I have a question. I was wondering, you said you were breaking the rules. What rules did you break?
While on supervised release,
Yes.
talking to someone in a workplace without approval, buying a cell phone without approval and got it hooked up with another person in the workplace way back a couple of years ago when I was on SR, in and out. That's what it was sent back for. But there was no there was no sexual offenses, like buying a cell phone without approval was sent back
Okay.
for that.
Thank you.
That's it. You're welcome.
Attorney Mays, is it appropriate to ask how he came to know the victims?
We'd have to be real careful about saying too much about the relationship between the defendant and the victims.
I mean, what I'm trying to get at is are these victims people that you met at the mall or driving past the park? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Through another.
Yeah, I think it would be fair to ask if the defendant had known the victims prior to the offense.
Okay, so Mr. Waney, did you know these victims prior to committing the offense?
Nope. These were all people I didn't know, and I got to know these through another friend of mine that lived in Green Bay, and that's how I got to know them, through other friends. And then we met at a park, and then I picked them up, drove them around, took them out to eat, and then assaulted them. So I didn't know them prior to that. I got to know him through another friend of mine, but he's no longer in Green Bay at all. He's in prison.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions reference his, charges?
None here.
Okay. Mark, we have the opportunity to talk to you about your treatment. Do you wish to go into private session, or are you okay staying in public session?
What's the difference?
Private session is where there's nobody on the call. Public session is
Okay.
everyone remains on the phone.
Okay, so if I went in private session, who would be on the call?
It would be the board members, and the law department and you.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I would like that.
Okay, then can we get a motion to move into private session?
I'll make a motion that we move into private session.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Mr. Ronnie, we just need to wait for everybody to get off the phone, and then we will begin to ask you about your treatment.
Thank
We'll
you.
we'll put everybody else into the waiting room, so they're not going to get kicked off the call, but they won't be able to hear what we're saying.
Okay.
And we'll pause the recording.
Okay, looks like so, Mark, we're back into public session, so we'll no longer talk about your treatment.
Yeah.
I do have a question about, where did you say you're working?
Not working right now, but I'm gonna be, and once I'm off the program, I'll be able to get a job faster than being on the program.
But you've
Working
been
with, FSET and Job Center to get a job. But I have $9,700 saved up for rent.
Okay. But so you've been out of custody for, about 18 months, is that correct?
I got out on January 1st of 2020. I've been living in Green Bay at a residence house, and I've been here ever since. And I'm getting discharged on August 31st, which is in 13 days from
Okay.
now. 13 days and a wake up, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And I'm still in sex offender treatment. And when I'm discharged, I'm still going to continue sex offender treatment.
So since you've been out since January of 2020, you have not had a job?
Yes, I was working. I wasn't working right away. I was getting SSI from Social Security, and then I got a job last year in October, and I worked 9 months at this company, and I broke one of their policies at the company, and I've been out of work for now 2 months now. But now I'm going to be getting another job, but I'm working through FSET and Job Center to get another full-time job.
What policy did you break at work?
The policy was not the policy itself. They had a policy set in place for not to get a phone number from an 22-year-old to get a phone number from the 18-year-old or 22-year-old person. So they had a policy set in place. You can't ask for phone numbers or general information from people that work at the company.
Okay. Does the board have any other questions?
I've got one question. I was wondering if you have transportation.
Right now, the transportation is being provided through Attic Correctional Services right now, but after August 31st, my sister would be coming to the house to pick me up to take my belongings where I'm going to go. And then after that, I do have money to buy a car.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Mark, do you have anybody that wants to speak for or against you?
No, I don't.
Okay. Is there any discussion from the board, or would somebody like to make a motion?
I guess I'll just say that I have some concerns with this one. Seem like he's basically groomed some of his victims at parks and being about 500 feet away from a trailhead to Fireman's Park. That gives me some concern. And just the testimony in general has been flippant. And I wouldn't be in favor of approving this one.
I have to agree with you, Alex. Pretty much all I've heard throughout the entire time is he broke some rules, he broke some rules, he broke some policies. And I mean, again, 20 years, this is a very old case, but I still at this I'm comfortable with him feeling that he has learned the boundaries. So that's my thought. Anybody else?
I'd agree with all that too.
I'd also throw in there too, if I'm reading the application correct, this happened when he was 37 and 39. And I feel like the testimony of sometime in my 20s is trying to pass it off as, well, I was just young.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not true.
Yeah. Good point. All right, is there somebody who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the appeal of Mr. Waney address specific.
I'll
Is there
second it.
s- Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, Mr. Wani, you have been denied to reside at 844 Irvington Street. You're always more than welcome to come back before the board.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Bye now.
Bye. All right, next appeal is the appeal of Gregory During requesting to move to 149 Berger Street. I think I saw you on here. Yep. Okay. Gregory, as you've heard me state, we're going to ask you, this is your first time before the board, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're going to ask you to tell us what you were convicted of, the circumstances surrounding the arrest, and we just ask that you don't state victims' names or relationship.
I understand.
Okay, go ahead.
I was charged with 2 counts of sexual assault of a minor, and I pled no contest to 1. The first count was read into the record. The situation was I was chatting with somebody on a adult pickup app, Grindr, and we agreed to meet. And when I did meet him, it turned out that he was underage. Right now, I'm serving on the GPS from home. I got a 1-year sentence of the GPS monitor, and then I have 6 months or 6 years probation after that.
Okay, so you, how old were you?
I know I was 57, I'm sorry, 57.
Okay, and the
Heidi,
victim was how old?
Heidi, can I jump in for a second?
Sure, sure.
So Mr. Deering, so you said you met up and you realized that he was underage. Did you continue with any sexual contact?
I didn't realize he was underage until the day I was arrested, and they told me how old he was. And as far as the sexual contact, all we did was kiss, and we both got nervous and left. But I was still charged with the 2nd-degree sexual assault. Like I said, I didn't know his age until the officer told me the day he arrested me.
Which the victim was how old?
At that point, he was 14.
And you thought the victim was maybe how old?
Well, to be on Grindr, it says you have to be an adult to be on there, 18 or older. So I assumed, my stupidity, that he was 18. And when I meant to meet him, I didn't ask for an age.
Okay. Right. Lieutenant Stroff, do you have that criminal complaint? Is this story accurate?
Reviewing it, I reviewed it earlier today, of course, but I'm also reviewing it again. It's a lengthy criminal complaint, but yes, what Mr. Deering is saying is, I would say, very accurate as to what's contained inside the criminal complaint, as far as the activity, the ages, the locations, and such.
Okay, so all that occurred was just a kiss?
That's
Well,
all that
not
occurred.
alleged that occurred. If you're still asking me, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, I was asking you, Lieutenant, if that's criminal
Alleged.
complaints, say just a kiss.
The victim alleged that that Mr. Gearing also grabbed his penis,
Okay,
which resulted in the 2nd count of 2nd-degree sexual assault of a child.
okay, thank you. What do you have to say about that?
This is, folks, that didn't happen, but I didn't want to go to court. I didn't want to go to a jury trial to put him and his family or me through all that testimony. And that's why I pled no contest. It would have been he said, but I didn't see it going my way. So no contest helped out both of us.
Okay. All right. And does anyone have any questions regarding his charges?
None here.
Oh.
Okay,
No.
all right. So, Gregory, if we want to talk about any kind of treatment or anything, you have the option to do that in closed session, or we can remain in public session. What would you prefer?
It can be public session.
Okay, so it doesn't seem like at this moment you have had any kind of sex offender treatment.
No, I've had a Zoom meeting with a counselor, and he hasn't gotten back to my PO officer for any type of treatment programs he suggests I attend. We're actually still waiting on his suggestion. It's been almost a month, so I have my PO meeting again tomorrow. So hopefully she's heard something by then.
Okay. All right. And that's going to be through the Hanger Enterprises?
Hedinger, yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions about that?
None.
No.
Okay. So Gregory, on to this grinder and hook up with this young man.
I was just going through profiles, looking at profiles and talking to various people. And my picture's on there, his picture wasn't. And he contacted me first to just said hello. We did a little bit of short chit chat, and he suggested to meet and suggested the place where to meet, which was across town from me. He said he'd be walking there and I'd drive there to meet him. Again, like I said, I assumed he was an adult. I went there. I should have realized when I walked in to the bathroom that I was the adult in the room. He wasn't. I should have left and I didn't. But I saw him as this 6'2" bigger kid, so I didn't realize he was underage. It's totally my stupidity, my fault, my ego, because somebody saw my picture and actually wanted to talk to me to hook up with me. And I did, and I shouldn't have.
All right. Anybody else have any questions for him?
Yes, I was wondering if you're working and if you have transportation.
I own my own vehicle, and actually I can see my boss is on here. I've been working continuously at the Roundabout Bar. I was working there before my conviction. And when I was first arrested, I was in jail for 38 days. And when I got out of jail, I had lost my job at Petco because I was away from my job for too long. But Amy said, come back to work. You're more than welcome to come back to work for at the Roundabout Bar. I average about 25 to 30 hours a week. She'll fill you in probably on other stuff I do there, but currently working.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I guess if everyone's okay with it, we'll have, it looks like maybe this Stephen Landwehr wants to speak on his behalf. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I can say a few words.
Okay, yeah, if you just, hold on, if you just say your name and address for the record, please.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My name is Stephen Landwehr. I live at 1349 Rockwell Road in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay, go ahead.
I know I submitted a document as well to the board in regard to a character reference for Greg. I'm originally from the Green Bay area. I was born and raised here. I moved away for schooling and work for about a decade or so. So when I came back in my late 20s, back in 2013, Greg was actually one of the very first people I met in Green Bay. And coming back into a city as a part of the LGBT community, it was really important for me to really find a sense of community and belonging. And so I actually ran into him first at the Roundabout, where he's still currently working. So he's been holding that job for a number of years. And really, I could just immediately tell that he's just a really passionate person and he's super caring. He's constantly just donating time, talent, money to nonprofit organizations within our community. Really, he's got his roots here and he's so focused on bettering the community. And then just kind of seeing all of this kind of progress and happen and just seeing the way that really Greg's been beating himself up because he knows that this isn't a situation to be taken lightly. And just the fact that he caused so much pain to another person, very unintentionally, it's not the type of person that he is. And, he knows that it's going to be a journey of healing for himself, for the victim. But, he just wants to be able to follow that journey and that path of healing at home. So.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have questions for Mr. Lanauer? No.
None here.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
All right, does anyone have any comments or discussion, or would anyone like to make a motion?
Was there anyone
Thank-
else who wanted to
Oh.
speak?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he said his boss was on here.
I'd like to also talk.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, please go ahead. Just
I'm
state your name and address for the record, please.
Michael Brazo, 2686 Trojan Drive, Green Bay.
Okay,
Okay. All right. I just wanted to give a character reference for Greg. I've known him over probably 15 years. And if you're worried about the neighborhood that he's living in, I don't believe that there's any concern, because even while he was waiting for trial, he was living at this same address. You guys said he's moving to this address, but I believe that is his address that he's been living in for many years that I'm aware of. And my thought process is, even while he was waiting for his trial to come up, he was living in this neighborhood for 2 years waiting for the trial. There was no concern to the neighborhood and whether he was a threat or anything. And I think that should be kept in people's minds when they're making a decision as to make him move from the residence that he's been in. And I'm not sure exactly how many years, but I know it's been quite a while. So I just wanted to make sure that people were aware of that. Thank you.
thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to speak on his behalf?
Yeah, I'd like to speak as well, please.
Okay, state your name and address for the record, please.
Amy Gustafson, 1625 St. Agnes Drive, Green Bay. I am, first of all, Greg's friend for at least 12 years and his employer for almost 9 now. I can completely attest to him being a very dedicated individual. He takes care of his elderly mother. I've had no issues with him while he's been in my employ. As a matter of fact, he is my manager here, takes care of everything when I'm unavailable. And as Stephen and Mike already attested to where he lives, that's the only place I've known him to live in the years that I've known him. And I would recommend to the board not to move him because he is set at that address and has had no problems being there. This incident took place someplace completely far from this dwelling, and I would just like to say, if the board has anything, just let him stay at that address because that's what he knows. He does give quite a bit back to our community, and everybody deserves that second chance. And I believe that Greg is fully remorseful for what has happened. And going forward, he definitely wants to be everything on the right track. So please take that into consideration in his dwelling. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy.
Anybody else? No? Greg, do you know if you have anybody else who wanted to speak on your behalf?
I see my friend Carol's on there, but she may be away from her phone because she works till 5, so she may not be able to speak. I know she was gonna go on while she was still at work.
Okay,
And I understand that if she can't, because like I said, she's in her job till 5 o'clock.
sure. All right. Does the board have anything they'd like to talk about or ask anybody any questions?
I would just say that based upon the nature of the crime, I don't feel like the location is going to increase the chance of a repeat offense. So I'm in favor of approving it.
I have to agree with you. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion that we approve Gregory to move to 149 Burger Street.
I'll second it.
That was address specific, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, Gregory, you're approved to continue to reside at 149 Burger Street. If you do decide to move, you will need to come before the board.
All right. I want to thank the board for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is Scott Murray. And do I see him? Yes, you're on there. And Mr. Murray, you're currently residing at 1761 Shawano Avenue, requesting to move to 844 Irvine Street. Is that correct?
That is not. I'm not at 1761 Shawano anymore. I'm actually my time at the TLP ran out, and I'm actually at the Bay Motel.
Okay.
1301 South Military.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so this is your first time appearing before the board, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so as you've heard me indicate to the others, we're going to ask you to tell us what you were arrested for, the circumstances surrounding the arrest, and how it came to light.
I was arrested for possession of child pornography in 2016. It came to light in through electronic monitoring, I believe, on behalf of the Green Bay Police Department. I did plead no contest to those 5 counts. I served 4 years at Oak Hill Correctional, and been back in Green Bay since June.
So you just happened to be on the computer perusing, specifically looking for child porn, or was it a pop-up that you accessed?
I was specifically looking for.
Okay. And then did you download any images?
I had, yes.
How many images did you have?
I don't remember the exact number, quite a few.
Okay. Lieutenant Strolf, do you have that information in front of you?
I do. The criminal complaint contains 10 counts of possession of child pornography. It was located after the execution of a search warrant based on an online investigation by the Brown County Sheriff's Department. In the criminal complaint, there are 11 separate files that are described. As you recall, there was at least one folder containing this, perhaps 2. It's a long criminal complaint, but in any event, 11 different files are specifically described. And again, 10 separate counts are indicated on the criminal complaint.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Does the board have any questions for either Scott or the lieutenant regarding the charges?
I guess I just have a general question, either Attorney Mays or Lieutenant. So to live at 1301 South Military, is that the Bay Hotel, Bay Motel?
Yes.
So that's across the street from the church. So would he technically have needed approval to move to that motel, or is there a different rule about like if it's less than a week at a time or something, they can live there?
I think,
it's-
oh, go.
Yeah, if it's transitory, he has to establish residence before it's a violation of the ordinance. The sex offender registry looks at a 10-day period before they consider an address needing to be registered and reported. Typically, to establish residence, it requires somewhere in the 3-day to 2-week time period. So I'm not sure how long the stay at the Bay Motel has been, but if it's transitory, he would not need to register or come before the board to stay there for a couple of days. So if he's hopping between hotels, that wouldn't be a violation of the ordinance.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And then Lieutenant, when I'm reading in this packet, it's on page 7, it says that the deputy found 20,000 images. And you had mentioned 10 or 11 counts. Do you not get a count per image, or how does that work?
The images alone don't necessarily determine the number of counts. It would really be up more to the ADA or DA that handled the case. They can clump them together depending upon, and Rachel might be able to speak more, I'm sorry, Attorney Mays might be able to speak more to this, but my understanding would be that the DA would have discretion. You know, it wouldn't be reasonable probably to charge somebody with 20,000 counts. And it may depend upon the locations, the number of electronic devices that it was found on, things of that nature. And Attorney Mays, again, if that's not correct, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that speaks to judicial economy. If they had a criminal complaint that had 20,000, I mean, it would take reams of paper just to print off the criminal complaint. So when you're facing serious charges, at a certain point, the sentences add up to be significant enough that anything additional is overkill. I think that the DA's office and the prosecutors typically select files that are easiest to prove, or maybe they have you know, the most solid evidence, and then they move forward. I think 10 to 15 charges is pretty typical. I mean, there are still significant penalties that are associated if convictions are achieved through those counts.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I don't have any other questions, Heidi.
Sorry, I was carrying on a conversation with myself. I didn't realize I was muted. Mr. Murray, we would like to probably talk about any kind of treatment, and you have the option to do that in closed session or remain in public session. What would you like to do?
I think public session is okay.
Okay, so have you participated in any kind of sexual sexual offender treatment?
I haven't yet, but my PO has a referral in to get that started. And I certainly plan to attend that for as long as necessary.
Okay, and it looks like while you were in, was it at Oak Hill, you participated in a antisocial thinking group?
It wasn't a group that was working one-on-one with the social worker.
It was working one-on-one with the social worker?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what was that group all about? Did you choose to go into that group? Did they recommend that group for you?
That was at the social worker, Mr. Gray's recommendation. And so I worked with him through many of those, the worksheets, and completed.
Okay, so it was just worksheets that you did.
Correct.
Okay. All right, and so you will be going into sex offender treatment when you get your notification.
Correct.
All right. Do you have any issues with alcohol or drugs that you would have
No.
partaken in any kind of treatment for that?
It's really not necessarily. I don't drink and I have never touched drugs in my life.
Okay. All right. Any questions regarding his treatment?
None here.
No.
All right. And Mr. Murray, on this initial classification report that we received from the Department of Corrections, are you listed as a special bulletin notification?
I
you
am, due to the change that was made in 2017, I am, yes.
What change was that?
That was a reinterpretation of the law under the AG at that time. Prior to that, people interpreted, because the law states that you have to be an SBN if you have two separate arrests. So prior to that 2017, it was arrest, out, second arrest, and then you would be an SBN. The AG reinterpreted it to say that if you have more than one count, then that second count becomes your second incident.
Okay. So, has the Green Bay Police Department done an special bulletin notification to this neighborhood?
I am not aware of whether they have or have not.
Lieutenant, are you aware if that occurred?
I am not, unfortunately. One of my counterparts in the Detective Bureau handles that type of thing, and I just don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm just wondering if there's any concerns from the neighborhood about you moving in there. Okay, does the board have any further questions or any comments that they would like to make?
Well, Attorney Mays, maybe you can answer that question. So the SBN doesn't go out until after it's confirmed that they're moving to that location, right?
That's correct. The SBN is more that someone is moving into the area.
Okay.
We post the agenda for this meeting in case people do want to provide feedback or input. But the SBNs are usually after the decision has been made.
Okay, all right. All right. Any concerns from the board, comments?
Same as the last one for me, the nature of the crime, I don't feel like the location is gonna either increase or decrease the likelihood of committing another crime of similar nature.
Anybody else feel the same way?
I agree.
Okay. Is there a motion anybody would like to make?
I'll make a motion to approve the appeal of Mr. Murray to move to address specific.
I'll second that.
8-4. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, Mr. Murray, you've been approved to move to 844 Irving Street. If you choose to move from that location, you will need to come back before the board.
All right, I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Next appeal is Trevor Conitzer.
Hi.
Okay, hi, Trevor. Okay, so looks like Trevor, you currently are living in New Franken and you want to move to 1619 West Mason Street, is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
It appears that you have put in a offer on a home. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming that's why you want to move to the city of Green Bay?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So this is your first time before the board.
Yes.
So again, as you've heard me, we just ask if you can let us know the circumstances surrounding your arrest and how it came about. Again, please don't state the name of the victim or the relationship to the victim.
I was for soliciting a minor for prostitution and exposing genitals. I took a plea deal for it, and I had a year of house arrest, and I'm currently on probation.
How old were you?
I was 20, I believe.
And the person that you were soliciting, how old were they?
So it was two separate, both of the occasions. One of the individuals was 17, and the other one, I believe 15 or 16 at the time.
Okay. Which one did you expose genitals to? Which child?
The 17-year-old.
And you were at that time 20?
I believe 20 or 21. It was right around my birthday that all this kind of happened.
Okay. And why do you think you did that?
I don't want to blame anyone else or anything like that. I was going through a lot mentally. That the last couple of years I've done counseling and therapy to kind of try to kind of bring my mind back as to why I chose to kind of act out in a way like that I did. Yeah, there was just, like I said, a lot going on, and I didn't use any resources to deal with it. I didn't look for any help when I should have, and I just made some really bad decisions.
Okay. And then the solicit, looks like you were a little bit older when that occurred.
No, I was the same age.
Oh, you were. Oh, I see. Oh, conviction date is different. Yep. Okay. All right. Lieutenant, does that seem pretty accurate as to what happened?
Yeah, yes, for the most part. The incidents were reported 6 days apart. Trevor was actually 21 at the time. I just turned 21. The 15-year-old victim was the victim of the solicitation for oral sex for money, and the 17-year-old was the victim of the exposure.
Okay. Thank you.
Everything else is accurate.
Okay, thank you. All right. Board, any questions for Trevor regarding his offense?
Lieutenant, are you able to say where these occurred? Was this in a public setting or was this at a house party? Speak to that.
Yeah, both of these occurrences occurred near Preble High School on the east side of Green Bay, in public.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Trevor, if we would like to talk about any kind of treatment that you've received, would you like to do that in closed session or remain in public session?
The public's fine.
Okay. So it looks like on your application to your agent, you have not had an assessment yet. Is that correct?
I just had the assessment.
Oh, when did you have that?
I believe early last week.
Okay,
I'm still awaiting to kind of hear from that.
okay. And then on your application, you indicate that you did go to counseling for a year at the ERC. Was that on your own behalf or were you ordered to do that?
That was on my own. Like I said, at the time, I was dealing with a lot of personal things, and then when I made these decisions and all that occurred, I needed help. I needed to reach out, and so yeah, that's what I decided to do. So I went there for about a year and just kind of tried to talk through my issues, work with the counselor to kind of figure out how to cope with certain things, how to better my decision making, and really think before I make mistakes like that.
Okay. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit on what kind of personal issues you were going through?
Yeah. So yeah, at the time, I had moved out of my parents' house. I got my own apartment. I had a girlfriend that I was seeing for a while, and she ended up just kind of leaving like out of nowhere, and I didn't really know what was going on. And it turned out that she was pregnant and didn't know who the father was. And I would try to get in contact with her every day because that just, it kind of, I don't want to be somebody that, where a kid would have to ask, like, why'd my dad, abandon me? So I got a text from a random number saying, I'm guessing one of her friends that kind of felt guilty, saying like, this is what's going on, this is why she left. And so I was trying to get in contact, and I was just finding out different things from this person who I never found out who it was or anything, but just finding out these different things, and it just kind of ate me up. Like every day, it was tough. And at the time I was dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety as it was, and I was having trouble making it through the day, and my mind was just gone, and I wanted to reach out for help at that time. I didn't really know the steps, and I didn't really know where to go. And I don't want to, blame any of that for any of my decision making. All of this, I mean, everything. It's just every day I wake up, I just, it's in my. I'm so disappointed in myself and everyone I've let down. The victims and their family as well. I've never meant to, hurt anybody in my life, and it pains me that I have. So
Okay.
all I'm trying to do now is just kind of go through the steps I can to better myself and make a positive impact on everyone around me, gain people's trust back. And just really do my best.
Okay, thank you. Does the board have any questions for him? Trevor, do you have anybody that wants to speak on your behalf?
No, I don't.
Okay, no, that's okay. All right.
I
Any
have some questions.
Go ahead, Peter.
Yes. How are you set as far as transportation and a job? Are you with any groups as far as help groups, or church or anything like that?
I have a vehicle. I'm currently employed with Georgia Pacific. I have really not too involved in church and things like that. I have a really supportive friend group right now, a really supportive girlfriend that I wanted to move to this address with. We really want to kind of start our lives together. Yeah, she's been really supportive this whole time, and all my friends as well, family. My parents let me move back in with them after all this happened. I left the apartment, so yeah, I'm back at my parents right now with my girlfriend, and yeah, everybody's been extremely supportive, and yeah, I appreciate everything from everybody so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions, or would anyone entertain a motion?
Well, I'll just say quickly, Heidi, Trevor, I believe that you are remorseful. Unfortunately, your actions have consequences, and I believe that this ordinance was created for issues and incidences like this. It happened not that long ago. It was in public by a school, and now we're asked to let you move next to a park. And I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing that at this time. So I'd be not in favor of approving this appeal.
I'm gonna say, even though he hasn't gone through sex offender treatment, he took it upon himself to realize that he has some issues and sought treatment on his own. So I wouldn't have an issue with him going to this address. It sounds like he's got a support system. He's at a much better place in his life right now than he was before. So that's where I kind of stand. All right, does anyone want to make a motion?
Well, if nobody will, I'll make a motion to deny the appeal of Trevor Conitzer to move to address specific.
Is there a second? All right, it sounds like that motion failed. Is there somebody who would like to make a different motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve Trevor to move address specific 1619 West Mason Street.
Is there a second? I'll second that. Okay. All in favor for the motion to approve Trevor to 1619 West Mason? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay. And even though I said nay, Trevor, I wish you all the best and hope you're on the right track. Good luck.
All right,
Appreciate that.
so Trevor, you are approved to move to that address. Again, if you decide to sell the house or move, you will need to come back before the board.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes.
I completely understand where the gentleman was coming from. It wasn't that long ago, and within the last 3 years, I can say me as a person, I've grown so much and I've realized so much. And I had the attitude back then where kind of I could do, whatever I wanted, and, there wouldn't be consequences. And, since this, it's opened my mind to just really getting the help and really realizing that it's okay to do that. And instead of bringing people's lives down, my goal today and for the rest of my life is to bring everybody up. And that's really all I want to do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. The next appeal we have is Jack. I'm sorry, I can't say your last name, Kendenbach. Is that correct? Jack? Jack? Are you still there?
Looks like he's in here. I'm wondering if he's connected to the 713 number, although that's not the number that I have on his paperwork.
Can I just make a motion to suspend the rules or whatever the procedural way to say that is and move on to number 7?
Is that your motion?
Sure, that's my motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so the next appeal we're gonna hear here is Jason Kraus. So Jason, you appeared before the board about 2 months ago, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Yep. And at that point, you were approved to reside at your address, the 408 Newhall Street, for a period of 60 days. And we ask that you come back and see us. I'm not sure what we were looking for, maybe just to see how things were going for you. Does anyone have that? Why we asked him to come back in 60 days? If he had to provide us anything?
I wasn't at that meeting, so I would not have details.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because he wanted documentation that I've attended treatment.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep. And
All
I
right.
sent that in, it's about a month ago, I believe, I sent
Yep.
that in.
Yep. So because it is treatment related, you have the option to move into closed session or remain in public session. What would you like to do?
I'm okay with public.
Okay, so it looks like you are going to family services. And how many sessions have you attended?
I went to family services before. I'm going back again. I'm going to see the same person, James Drake, and I'm going to
Oh, okay.
I had my PO meeting today, and she told me that they actually had a meeting a couple days ago, and that I should have a call from James Drake for my first appointment within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, sorry, I'm
Yeah.
looking at the paperwork and I see that the dates are not what I thought it was. Okay, so you are enrolled, you just have not attended.
Yep. Yeah, I was on a wait list.
Okay, and when are you going to start attending? Did you say?
Within the next 2 weeks, my agent told me.
Okay. All right, so we wanted to see some documentation that you were enrolled in treatment. And you provided that. Does the board have any questions? I mean, I know Alex, and it looks like Dominique, you guys were not present for that hearing. Do you want to ask him some questions?
No, I read through the file. I'm comfortable with the information that's in the packet. I don't need to ask any further questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay too.
Okay, then is there anybody who would like to make a motion regarding that?
I'll make a motion to approve the appeal of Mr. Kraus to address specific.
I'll second that
408.
motion.
Okay, all right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, all right, Jason, well, you're approved to continue to reside at 408 Newhall.
All right, thank you.
If you move, you'll need to come back before the board.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
yep, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. All right, next on the agenda is Jack. Jack, do you hear us? Jack? Not really quite sure what we can do about this situation.
Who's on the 713-0599 phone number?
Is anyone on the Zoom call able to unmute that phone number? Oh, not anymore.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that person hung up.
Maybe that was Kraus.
And unfortunately, there is no telephone number listed on his application. Otherwise, I certainly would give him a call.
So procedurally, I mean, we could adjourn this application until next month's meeting. See if we can make some kind of contact by whatever contact information we have. If we have an address, we could send a letter out. I mean, it looks like someone by the name of Jack is on the meeting, but they're not responsive. So there's not much that we can do as a board.
There was a note that was submitted. Ann Hernandez will join me on the Zoom. Ann has lived across the hall from me for the last 4 years. And then there's a phone number listed.
Can you try reaching out to her to see if they're on the call?
Okay, sure.
While we wait, just have a question for you, Heidi. I guess anybody. So at the end of any approval, you say that if you move, you have to reach back out to Green Bay. But is that true? It's only if they want to move inside that 1,500-foot restricted zone, they'd have to reach back out.
Well,
Right?
yes, that is correct. I
Okay.
mean, you are
Okay.
correct, but I like to let them know that just because we're approving you doesn't mean you can just move anywhere.
For sure.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they should know the boundaries. But yeah, that's why I kind of state that.
Well, and it's better safe than sorry too. Like if they notify us and we can tell them that they're not in the 1,500-foot buffer, then so be it. So that's fine.
And we try to screen out if someone turns in an application and they're not within the restricted area. We typically let them know and screen those applications out before they get to the meeting.
Sure.
But yeah, Heidi, if you want to give people the heads up, you may want to just say that they may need to come back before the board
Yeah.
if they decide to move.
Okay.
Do you have a script, Heidi? Because it seems like you're on top of it. You know the order of questions to ask.
No, I don't have it. Doing it for a while.
Oh, that's
And
right.
then-
You weren't here the 1 week I had to do.
And then
Yeah.
Attorney Mays, do you have that list of questions that you can send to us? Because I'd be curious to know what they're coming into the meeting expecting to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, we can send out a blank copy of the template that we send out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we were looking at revamping the application at one point, and people were coming and they weren't prepared to answer the types of questions that are typically asked. You know, have you received treatment? What is your work status? You know, do you have transportation? A lot of these questions that are recurring questions. So we wrote down some sample questions that they're likely to encounter when they come to the meeting. But we can certainly provide that to the board members.
Okay, thank you.
I have some questions on that too. Since I still consider myself kind of new, what kind of questions can we ask? And are there any questions that we're limited to that we can't ask?
Yeah, anything that's probative towards remorse, rehabilitation, or likelihood to reoffend. Those are the criteria that you're trying to assess. Typically, you want to avoid more open-ended questions that just let them ramble on, that may implicate, you know, a relationship to the victim, or those types of answers. So the more pointed the question, typically, the more controlled the conversation can be. But I mean, as long as it's probative towards those three items. As long as they're probative towards those three items, they're typically fair game.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have Jack on the phone?
Yep. He's just having some technical difficulties and he was just muted again. So I'm asking him to unmute. So Jack, if you hear something on your end, I don't know if you need to press 1 or something to accept me unmuting you. Ask to unmute. Yeah, so I just muted him and now I'm not sure he knows how to unmute.
Okay,
There he is.
can you hear me now?
Okay, yep.
Okay.
All right, so
I had a-
Jack, you're here to, you're requesting to move to 1008 Club Road in Green Bay, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you're currently living on Fort Howard in De Pere?
yes.
Okay, and why is it that you want to move?
Well, we have a new landlord and they're raising the rent $200 a month plus. And I'm on Social Security and I make you get just under 900 a month and rent is going to be 700.
Okay.
So I can't afford to stay here. And it's a whole lot closer. Where I would be moving to is a whole lot closer to church that I go to and volunteer at. And that would save a lot of gas also. I can't afford to stay here. It's either, I got to move out. I already haven't renewed the lease. My lease was up in the end of July. But because they sold the building, I had an extra month. So my lease is up and I need to move because of that also.
Okay. Now, it looks like the last time you were here before the board was back in December of 2017. At that time,
Yep.
we approved you to reside at Day Street. And then we really haven't seen you since then.
Right.
Okay, so does the board need him to go over his offenses or anything like that? Or did you read his documentation?
I have no questions.
Okay. All right. All right, so is there any discussion anyone would like to have prior to maybe asking him questions? If we want to go into closed session for anything?
I don't need to know anything in addition to what we've seen in the packet.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It looks to me like, this is my opinion, Jack. You know, we approved you back in 2017. Apparently you didn't have any issues with that. Looks like you, at that time, you still had a good support group. And then, how long were you living in De Pere?
4 years, and my next door neighbor, the lady across the hall, Ann, she's here with me. If you'd like to
Okay.
talk to her.
Okay, I don't need to at this moment. But are you, yeah, so are you still attending? Where are you attending church at?
I go to Green Bay First, and I do have to say something here. Life-changing events has happened to me in the last 5 years. I was attending Green Bay First for quite a while, and when 2020 hit and COVID, everybody shut down. Our church opened up 7 days a week, and I was volunteering, and my ex-wife and I, we delivered groceries. Our church is now a big food pantry and a clothing closet. And I love seeing the miracles that have happened there. And Ann can tell you about what happened here a couple of years ago. My daughter found me unconscious. They did not expect me to live, to the point where I come back, my landlord already had my place ready to be rented, and my family had half their inheritance taken home. And they did not expect me to survive. And when you get that close to God and you have that series of conversations with God personally, it is life-changing. And I love seeing the miracles that have been happening. We're reaching out to the community. Like this weekend, there's a big back-to-school bash. What was it? Over 500 backpacks filled with school supplies and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm doing what I can to help the community.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Thank you for doing that. Okay, does anyone have questions they would like to ask of Jack? Any discussion? Okay, well, I'm just gonna.
Did Ann want to speak on Jack's behalf?
Yeah. Jack, does Ann want to speak?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, hi.
Hi, yes, would you like to say
Hi.
anything on Jack's behalf?
I didn't hear what she said.
I didn't either.
Would you like to say anything on Jack's behalf?
Yes, my boyfriend and I live across the hall from him.
Could we get your full name and address before you
Hello?
start?
He's been a wonderful neighbor.
Okay, hold on,
And,
Ann, yes, you need to
Yes.
state your full name and your address for the record, please.
Okay. My full name is Ann, A-N-N. Middle initial is R. Last name is H-E-R-N-A-N-D, as in dog, E-Z. Hernandez.
All right. And your address.
Okay. My boyfriend's apartment is 207 Fort Howard Avenue, and it is apartment 1. I'm right across the hall from Jack.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. You can tell us what you want.
Yes, I've known Jack now for about 4 years, and he has never disrespected me as a woman, and he has always been friendly to everybody in the building, to the point that he tries to wear a smile even when he's sick. And he works doing so much food delivery that so many times he's asking us what he can bring us, and he's trying to bring us things. He's definitely dedicated to his church, and I give him total respect as a man and an individual. And he does wonderful things for people. He's always trying to help. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, does anyone have any questions for her?
None here.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm just gonna make a before we go out for a vote. You know, Jack's been out in the community for quite some time. He hasn't had any further law violations. You know, since this initial offense occurred, sounds like he's got a good support system. And I wouldn't have a problem with him living at, on the Club Road address. Anybody else have anything to say?
Nothing.
I'll make a motion to approve the appeal of Mr. Kanzebek request to move to address specific.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Jack, you've been approved to reside at 1008 Club Road. Again, if you decide to move, you may have to come before the board.
I just want to
Right.
clarify that it's 1008 Country Club Road.
Oh, I'm
Just for
sorry,
the
I
record.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, on the address, on the application, it just says Club Road. Okay, yes,
That's what I was told too.
okay. All right, so you are approved to reside at the 1008 Country Club Road. Okay,
Yep.
Thank you, the board. I appreciate even hearing that. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Okay, that was the last of our appeals. Let's see. Nope, I don't have my agenda in front of me. I don't think there's anything. Do we have any business we need to discuss?
I don't think so.
Okay. And we have our next board meeting scheduled for
September 21st.
September 21st, okay? And then can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second it.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Lieutenant, thank you for joining us today.
It was my pleasure. It was a learning experience for me. I appreciate it as well.
Okay. All right, we'll see everybody next month then.
Good night.
Have a good month.
Bye.
Bye, guys.